Good morning, friends, and welcome to Gardening with Creekside. Today we are going to say goodbye to the annuals back here. They're getting wild and woolly. I'm ready to get rid of them. And we are going to be looking ahead to next spring. I'm going to share with you my plans for the tulips that I'm going to be using here in the back. Give you a little update on the deck boxes because they are spectacular right now. It is a glorious September morning here. I think our low this morning was like 55. We are loving life. Fellas are working on the terrace garden. I'm going to be back here. So if you hear any beating and mammon, it's just the fellas doing some construction. So let me show you what we're going to say goodbye to today and why we are going to be doing that. It is time to say goodbye to the perfectly pink angelonias. Yep, that and the the double up white begonias, excuse me. Y'all, it's September. I've whacked them back. They grew, they flushed back out, they were tall, and now they're getting floppy. And I'm just gonna be honest, I'm just tired. I'm tired of looking at them. My gardenias are blooming. They have bloomed continuously all summer. So I wanna highlight my gardenias. My 9-bark back here is blooming. Of course, we have the gorgeous lanterns that are in here that I really can't see very well because the angelonia has gotten too tall. The lanterns are a new addition. I got the lanterns after I planted the angelonia in here. Next year, we're gonna go a completely different look as far as the annuals. So I am ready to say goodbye to them. I know we're gonna go ahead and definitely get rid of this flower bed with those annuals. And then honestly, I will probably go ahead and come on over here and get rid of these as well because the roses are blooming and are spectacular. I'm filling up the fountain. Give me a second so I can stop that before we overflow. All right, so things are looking great back here. I'm just ready for tidying up, right? Because we are early September. I like to take little garden projects bit by bit instead of waiting till, the freeze comes and then you're just overwhelmed. I like things neat and tidy. Yes, there are still some flowers on these angelonias, but they are just so tall, like you can't see the fountain. They're getting into the roses. I'm just done, right? I have had a great season with them and I am just done. So we're gonna say goodbye. And then y'all, this is so embarrassing, but it's life. Roses doing very well. But again, see how they're kind of laying up against the angelonias up against the roses. I was walking by and I was like, hello, you're not a rose. Y'all, that weed is every bit of 4 feet tall. Good gosh, where have I been that I have missed that weed? What we're gonna do is very simple. I've got Brenda back here, she's somewhere with me. I am just gonna go through and I'm going to pull all these out. We're gonna load them up in the back of Johnny so that way we can take them off to our little composting area, get the rake, clean things up, and I am just ready to get things fresh, neat, and tidy. And then, fun, we're gonna talk about the tulips for next year because if you remember how many I got last year, this year I got even more. So it's going to be a glorious spring. And yes, it's not even technically fall yet, but I'm already thinking about spring. So 'tis the life of a gardener. Okay, my friends, the cleanup is complete and I can breathe. It feels so good to get this space cleaned up. So, give you a little rundown on everything. The plants pulled out relatively well. It is, I don't know if you can tell from the soil, but it is very dry. We have not had good rain ever since we put the sod down in the signature garden. So there you go. And then taking the size of the plants, they were just sucking out all the water. Pulled out really easily. I did go ahead and adjust the lanterns here just a little bit. These guys are from the One-Eared Cow. It is an art gallery in Columbia, South Carolina. They have LED lights in them and they light up at night and they are absolutely gorgeous. So if you're interested in some gorgeous yard art, whether it be these lanterns or just stained glass for the garden, check out the One-Eared Cow in Columbia. I will link their social media and you can give them a buzz, check them out. This is one from Mimi that has completely spoiled me, and it was a bad thing when she introduced the One-Eared Cow to me. Now, as we're going through, right, if you see a weed, pull a weed. Now, I was all up in there and then I'm looking underneath the 9-bark, and I don't know if y'all can see it, but there's a little pine tree growing up under there. I mean, I see a pine tree, there's a maple, and there's a poplar. Dear heavens, the gardenias are doing great. This is Chuck Hayes, and Chuck Hayes has been a really nice gardenia for us because there's actually 4. These 2 were kind of getting a little swallowed up. But a gorgeous classic double white gardenia that has the most lovely fragrance ever. I'm a huge gardenia fan, and these tend to be more cold tolerant because even though we are a zone 8A, sometimes in the wintertime, because we can get down into the low teens, right? We don't stay there for very long, but we can go there, and my gardenias will sometimes get burned because even though they're kind of close to the house, the wind will come over and settle right here. They're not close enough to the house that they're really protected, and so sometimes they will get burned. I found that Chuck Hayes does the best and has the most cold tolerance for me. They will get to be a good size. This one right here is getting quite healthy. I don't want to prune it now because I will be pruning my flowers off for next year. Plus, there's so many buds that are still coming. Like, this is crazy that it is still producing flowers. I love it. Gardenias bloom on old growth, so next year, next summer, probably into June, somewhere around July, that's when I can come in and give it a shape. But you can see it's starting to grow a little bit too close to the sidewalk right here. And in fact, I even had to trim some of the Summerific Lilac Crush. It was starting to get a little too aggressive. It too is still blooming and looking quite lovely. So now, here we go. Megan came out and she was like, yep, Mama, I can hear the roses. They're saying thank you, and they're taking a nice deep breath, and I agree. Just getting it all cleaned up. Lovely. Little lime punches, pufferfish there in the middle. Yes, our little limes, they'll turn a lovely dark lime and then straight to a brown. The Poet's Wife, y'all, these are all David Austin roses. They are doing so lovely. You know, it's amazing what happens when the Japanese beetles go away, but just so sweet, lovely, soft yellow. I love the Poet's Wife. Smells divine. I mean, it is just a beautiful rose. So nice. Each of these clumps, there are 3 roses in here together to be planted in mass to look like one giant one. Followed the directions from David Austin. Here we have the Susan Williams Ellis. Nice pure white flower. Has a little bit of some yellow tones to it. Sweet one. And then one of my absolute favorites, the Rhubarb Doll. You know, James and the Giant Peach. Here we go. Look at that. Gorgeous. Smells divine. Absolutely a beautiful, delicious smelling rose. Now, I told you that I was going to give you an update on the deck boxes. Let's go look at the deck boxes, and then let's talk about the tulips that are going to go in the backyard next year. Look at these deck boxes. Oh my goodness. We sit out here in the afternoon, especially since the weather has turned much more pleasant. Y'all, I mean, are they spectacular or what? I know I showed them to you just the other week or last week. These have started to fill in, and look at that. Love it. So of course what we have here, just as a little recap, all the beautiful pink. This is the Superbena Pink Cashmere. I mean, y'all, talk about a spectacular display. Love this. It's super vigorous. It is a very, very vigorous verbena, so it goes great in the ground. Clearly does really well in these deck boxes as well. One of my new favorite introductions for next year from Proven Winners is this Supertunia Mini Vista Plum Vein. Y'all, right, the Mini Vistas, they're small. I love this plant. It goes great with the pink cashmere, right? And it has just that beautiful, as the name says, a deep dark kind of that plum color, nice, tight, compact, beautiful plant. I'm going to be using this a lot next year. Love the Mini Vista Plum Vein as a petunia. And then we have some of the white angelonias. These are not quite blooming yet. And then here we go. So you can see those guys as well. Just nice, beautiful, clear, white, upright habit on it. Of course, pairing it with, there you go, got that pink cashmere right there. Next year, they're going to come out with a bunch of new Kufia from Proven Winners. Look at that. This has been a really great one. It's the Tempted series. That's going to be the new series, and it's Violet something. So super cute, and again, pairs really well with the new Mini Vista Plum Vein. But just lovely, absolutely lovely. The dahlias, new dahlias next year, also from Proven Winners. And it's so interesting because this dahlia plant she is growing something fun, but it's interesting. So this is the same dahlia plant all the way up here, and then look, we have a little trailing action going on right there. But look how isn't that beautiful? So really fun. I think there's either 4 or 5 new dahlias coming next year from Proven Winners. But that's the great thing about when I cut these, look right here. Whenever I cut and trim these boxes, they always grow back in a different way. And what I mean is different plants will be the different star of the show. Obviously going into fall, dahlias love that. So I have got buds all over here with the dahlias. I mean, they're just gonna be popping out like crazy and doing really well with that pink cashmere. In the springtime, early summer, it had a completely different look to it, right? So I do trim it back mid-season, which is really like in July for me, because we have such a long growing season. I mean, cut them back. They're on irrigation, they get watered every day. I fertilize them twice with the Proven Winners water soluble fertilizer. I mean, hello, absolutely gorgeous. All right, now let's talk about tulips for next year. So if you are in a warmer zone like I am, you can absolutely have gorgeous tulips in the spring. The only thing is you need to go ahead and have them pre-chilled before you plant them. So basically you need to fake out your tulips. You need to make them think that they went through a nice cold winter, and then you plant them in the ground, and then they will perform beautifully in the spring. So you can either put them in your refrigerator, not a freezer, a refrigerator for 6 to 8 weeks. You're mimicking that winter time, and then you can plant them. I personally, and I did that for a couple of years, but I get my tulips and all my spring bulbs from Color Blends. And Color Blends will, for a flat fee, I think it's like $30, they will go ahead and pre-chill your bulbs if you need them pre-chilled. This will be my second year that I take them up on that offer. Worth every penny. Y'all, I'm getting so many bulbs that I literally could not, I would have to buy multiple refrigerators. So for $30 to let them take care of it, yes please. So they are going to arrive the first week of December, and there's going to be a bunch of them. We're just going to talk about here in the backyard. So basically I am going to do in the backyard like I did last year as far as where I'm going to plant. I am going to fill the deck boxes with the tulips. I went ahead last year and I did pockets all through the raised beds down here. There were big, like I said, pockets of tulips all the way down, and then we even did them in the landscape down here. So next year we're going to include the beds that we just cleaned out. So I will have the tulips in that as well. So what are we going to use? I am going to take advantage of the gorgeous blends from Color Blends, and we are going to do Shocks and Struts. So Shocks and Struts is a pink blend that has like every range, hue of pink that you can possibly imagine. So it'll have some pinks, it'll have some apricots, it'll have some oranges, some salmons, some hot pinks, kind of some that are on the like the reddish side. All sorts of gorgeous colors. And we did this last year. We did a different blend last year back here, but it was still pink because our Megan was like, Mama, can we please do pink tulips? She loves pink tulips. So if my girl wants some pink tulips, she's getting some pink tulips. So we're going to have, I think I ordered like 700 of just the Shocks and Struts that are just going to be here on the back. So like I said, the deck boxes, the beds, all within this vicinity. We're going to have 700 Shocks and Struts that are going to arrive the 1st of December, and we're going to get them planted. So I cannot wait for spring. It is going to be glorious. We loved having the tulips this year. This was the first year we did them in mass back here. And then I was like, ooh, we need to add some more. We need to take it up to the next level and then add in some other areas. So that is what we're going to do. It's going to be a beautiful pink spring here in the backyard. So if you have some things to do in your garden, get out there and do them. Let's go down here. I'm going to show you one more. I'm going to give you one more little piece of advice right quick. So Jenny's little words of wisdom for today are, do what you can when you can. Right, today the weather is glorious. It is lovely. It is just fantastic to be outside. So I decided my goal was today to tackle these 2 beds, got them taken care of. I am not going to lie. As I was working, I was like, oh, I need to do this. Oh, I need to do that. Oh, I need to do this. Because y'all, this part of the garden has been a little neglected here lately, and there is always something to do. There are always perennials that can be trimmed back. Maybe something that has some dead foliage that needs to be pulled out, right? So there's butterfly bushes that need to be pruned. A rose that is out of control, right? And weeds that are just, I did get it weeded up to this point. But don't get too overwhelmed. If you're like me and you get out in your garden sometimes and you just feel overwhelmed because of all the different things that you need to do, set a goal for yourself, right? Set little steps. I don't care what the goal is. It could be pull 10 weeds. It could be take out the flower bed. It could be trim this. It could be trim that. It could be water this plant. The goal itself does not matter, but just set a little goal and get it done. And then once you accomplish that goal, then you feel so much better. And then the next day, when you have an opportunity, set another little goal and do that. So yeah, I definitely have goals for the forest pansy bed because she needs a lot of TLC. But for right now, I'm going to bask in the glory of getting this done, and it looks neat and clean and tidy. And for that, I am grateful that I was able to do that today. So as always, we hope you found this fun, informative, and inspirational. Y'all have an amazing day, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye, friends.